Welcome to Shenington, just a mile away from the site of the opening battle of the English Civil War in 1642 at Edge Hill, where Roundheads fought the Cavaliers. 382 years later, we're back for more battles featuring Roundheads of a different kind in the opening round of the British Pro Kart Championships, running as part of the UK Kart Series in 2024. The last time we filmed the Senior Pro Karts was back in February at Wilton Mill for the UK Plate, and the action that day was epic, right up to the last few corners of the last lap.
So up towards it again, and look how tight-knit Aaron Alexander is, holding on in front of Jessica, who still fancies the chance to get through into the lead of the race. Up towards Ashby again, Aaron Alexander pulls across the line, Charlie Bingham round the outside, managing to get in a second briefly, back down to third. This is terrific stuff. Alexander, Bingham, then Alexander again, it's Jessica. Oh, Charlie Bingham's run off wide! Charlie Bingham completely dropping the kart on the way out of Osiers, and that's going to be all the way down to the back of the train. So Aaron Alexander has license now to run to the flag in front of Jessica Alexander. There is the checkered flag. Aaron Alexander wins. Jessica Alexander in second from Sam Spinale. What an absolutely sensational finish.
Before the racing got underway, I caught up with a few drivers that should feature at the sharp end this weekend, including the first transgender driver in world karting that we know of, to get their thoughts on that day and the dawn of a new era for pro karting at this inaugural round of the British Pro Kart Championships.
I thought as a race weekend it was great. It's so good to see Pro Kart sprinting back. We do a lot of endurance racing. That's obviously what Pro Karts tend to do, but a lot of us want to come and sprint. That's one of our big things we miss. So being able to come and sprint and have a really, really competitive grid. We had a brilliant race in the final. To anyone that hasn't watched it, it's well worth watching. And yeah, it was so much fun. We all came off friends, we all shook hands, and that's for me, that's the most important thing, that we could all go and have a great race, and then we can all come off and be friends afterwards.
And that's the thing about pro karting, I seem to find. In other classes, gets a bit frantic, a bit frenzied now and again, but in pro karts, you guys, it's a real camaraderie amongst you, isn't it? Yeah,
we're all good. We're all really good friends. We all travel around the country together. We all race in the same championships. So you all got on very well, and it makes for great racing because there's so much respect out there between most of us that you can go and have a great race on the track, and then we can all sit and have a beer in the sunshine afterwards when it's really good fun. So yeah, it's as an atmosphere, it's a brilliant class. And this is the very first British Pro Kart Sprint Championship, isn't it? So a lot of excitement in the paddock for that. Yeah, I think we've all, as a team, everybody at Apollo has been looking forward to this for months. It's been on our radar. And I think the UK Plate was a great introduction to it. And we've just had the first heat today. So, and even that was some brilliant racing. So it's going to be a really good year. And I think I can only see it going from strength to strength. The racing's really good. It's a brilliant championship to come and get involved in. The buzz around the paddock, all you've got to do is look around. We've got the weather for it today, which helps, and it's such a nice paddock to be around. And let's address your transgender status, because I think that's what people will want me to do. First transgender person racing karts, I believe. Yeah, we think so. Obviously, it's a difficult discussion to and a difficult thing to claim. Obviously, there's a lot of people who may not be able to be open about who they want to be, and that's a tough position to be in. I know how hard that's been myself. So we believe the first openly trans person to win a Motorsport UK Championship, which obviously is a big thing for the push for more diversity in motorsport, and to encourage people to who want to be themselves to come and feel welcome and have something to relate to. That's the big thing, I think. For us as drivers, the kart doesn't care. The kart doesn't care whether you're a guy, you're a girl, whether you're trans. It doesn't matter. I think the more important message to push is that as a trans person, you can be welcomed and successful in the sport, and there's a community that will support you. For me, that's the big message, is that this is an incredibly supportive paddock, and that's credit to a lot of organisations. Motorsport UK have done so much work. Racing Pride. There's a lot of people have done a lot of work to make it an accepting environment, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that now. Okay, well, good luck this weekend. Thank you very much. Aaron, we've just been interviewing Jessica Alexander, no relation to you, and we've been talking a little bit about the UK Plate.
back in February, which you won that day. Just talk us through that final. It was an exciting final, wasn't it?
Yeah, managed to win the final. Didn't really have the pace most of the day, but managed to pull something out of the bag in the final and pull the result.
And this weekend, first round of the British Pro Kart Championship, the inaugural British Championship for sprint racing in Pro Karts. See a lot of endurance racing, not so much sprint racing. Looking forward to this?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure carnage will happen in the final, but we'll see how it goes.
Let's hope not. Good luck.
Thank you.
Kieran, the UK plate back in February for you, not the best weekend for you. Just talk us through the heats and the final from your point of view.
Yeah, so the engine oil plug came out, so oil everywhere, engine nearly seized, so that wasn't very good. And then final, I don't know what happened, I went into the back of everyone broke early and I went into the back and spun out, so it's not ideal. But
No, what about this weekend though here at Shenington? Is this a track you like?
yeah, I like this track. Going into the weekend, I've got about like 50 hours of riding Norberg, and if you know who he is, he's the best. And he told me to get, well, on his YouTube, he's been telling you to get under rubber. And on this track, it really matters to get under rubber because the track surface is scrap, so it's not the best.
Yeah, the Pro Kart tyres, not the softest,
No.
are they?
No, it's not very good. So hopefully get under rubber and then go out there and just do my best.
Okay, what would be a good result for you this weekend?
Anything in top 3, to be honest, because the
Okay.
grid's just so light. The competition is just amazing now. Like it's so hard to compete, and you just have to be on your game all the time.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Senior Pro Kart final about to get underway here at Shenington. Aaron Alexander and Jessica Alexander then on the front row of the grid from Sam Spinale and Austin Monday. Ed Hack and Maximus Shields on the third row from Kieran Lambert and John Hogan. And then Sebastian Pereira and Gareth Plackett round out a very competitive top 10, I have to say, in the Senior Pro Kart Pro category. It should be very interesting to see which of those 10 is going to be able to lead in the early stages. Row 6 of the grid, Seb Algieri alongside Ronnie Rowe, then Jack Hewland alongside Carl Ruddock. On the 8th row of the grid, it's Jake Richardson and Mick Lord, then Aaron Lord and Mark Tate on row 9, and to round out the top 20, we have Alfie Wilkes alongside James Drabwell. You can see that the two rows are starting to line up then, and so we're getting ourselves ready for the start. Just a few other drivers to mention towards the tail end. Charlie, Ben Morby and James O'Connor, Eddie Croden-Fowler and Kyle Vaines, then Christian Bellaby, Ty Lansbury, Stephen Vaines, John de Beswick and Charlie Bingham to round out the field. 29 drivers. And this one's going to be an exciting one. It's Shenington, so expect the unexpected. Up we go. Aaron Alexander hits the front nice and early. Sam Spinale managing to jump Jessica Alexander for the time being as they run through the hairpin at Cafe and on the run down to the hairpin once again. It'll be a fantastic battle. Careful as you place it. You've got to be very tough on the brakes, and a little bit of a slide there from Sam Spinale under brakes. Almost goes clean into the back of Aaron Alexander's kart.
UK plate winner is Aaron Alexander. He's taken the lead as they come through Bruno Ferrari chicane, if you prefer, for the first time. Watch out for Charlie Bingham. Jake, he was at the back of the grid, but we know from Wilton Mill earlier in the season, he was a real front runner.
Now this is going to be tricky under brakes. Jessica Alexander already starting to put Sam Spinale under some pressure as they come over the corrugations once again along the main straight. A little bit of a defensive tactic there on the end of the first lap from Aaron Alexander. Clearly doesn't want to lose track position for the moment. Monday in P4, then a little bit of a gap to Ed Hack. And then we've got Shields, Lambert, Hogan, Plackett and Jake Richardson rounding out the top 10. Just a whisker in front of Seb Algieri and Sebastian Pereira. They shuffle the decks for the lead of the race. Is that going to be enough for Jessica Alexander to squeeze through into second place? It is, but only just, as John Hogan tries to work his way up towards the back of this quartet. But so far, John Hogan in the 73 kart has got a little bit closer to Kieran Lambert than he would like. Lambert is trying to shake him off. But the quartet out in front, then there's the trio behind of Hack, Shields and Lambert, with Hogan, Plackett and Richardson trying to give a little bit more of a chase. They come up the turn, over the tram lines once again, and it's Aaron Alexander in front of Jessica Alexander and Sam Spinale. Austin Monday has got through past Kieran Lambert, as we know, but Lambert is flying, having got ahead of Ed Hack, and now sets the fastest lap of the race in the process.
Yeah, he's moved up to 5th place. John Hogan was just in behind him earlier in the piece, but he is Still there in 8th place, bit of work to do for the Leicester man as it's all kicking off out front, Jake.
Yes, Aaron Alexander is being ultra defensive considering how early in the race it is. He's trying to make his kart as wide as a Cadillac right now.
Yeah, now, the last time we saw this, well, that is very defensive. Go 3 wide through the corner.
Oh,
there.
look, here comes Monday. Monday trying to come right round the outside and almost gets into 3rd position on the curb of Sam Spinell. In fact, he's actually going to draw the tiniest bit level. But look at Alexander. He just don't want to race for this. He's just going to completely park the bus at every apex.
Yeah, we saw that in 2017, Jake, in the Super 1 British Karting Championships. The clerk of the course that day decided he'd had enough of that after a couple of heats, brought the drivers together, told them you can defend on the first lap, you can defend on the last lap, anything in between, you'll get a warning the first time, and if you do it again, it'll be a black flag, and that'll be your race over. Now, what's going to be the strategy from here?
This is the ultimate defensive race from Aaron Alexander. He clearly has absolutely no confidence in the performance of his kart compared to his rivals because he's just parking it. There's no way for anybody to get through in his current line. Monday again has a look, this time to get past Jessica Alexander, and the momentum, the concertina effect that is being generated by Aaron Alexander, just holding them up on the inside radius of every apex, is just backing us up. We're going to get 8 drivers battling for the lead. Maybe it could even be as much as 12 to 15, 16 karts. He is absolutely... Oh, now Monday had a bit of a look there.
Yeah, he's gone around the outside. He's tried to make up a place, and in doing so, he's lost a place because he's hung himself out to dry on the outside line, Jake. So he tried to go from second to first, took the wide line, trying to do the switchback, couldn't get it done, and that's cost him a place back down to 3rd.
But look at Alexander, he's almost looking behind him as often as he is in front, and that is now a bunch of drivers nudging, trying to work their way further forward. The shuffle of the deck comes in again. You've got Aaron Alexander in front of Jessica, then Austin Monday, Spinell, Hogan, Shields, Lambert, Hack, Plackett, Richardson and Algieri. 2.2 seconds covering them all, and there's more drivers coming to join the party.
Jessica Alexander now has got a bit of a gap behind her. She could go wide and come back underneath on the exit. What's happening? She's alongside, side by side, Jake.
Surely this is going to be enough of a momentum in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. No! Aaron Alexander keeps the throttle wide open. He's not going to give her the space at all. And this is going to be enraging. Jessica Alexander, look, I've got 12 to 15 drivers on R6 right now, and you are slowing us up big time. Come on, if you're not going to race me, get out of the way.
Now I can think of any number of drivers back in the day. My son's had a look at this and he said in his day he would have nudged him out of the way. James Beam would have nudged him out of the way. Craig Copeland would have nudged him out of the way. Darrell McDonald, to be fair, Darrell would just have fired him off completely and taken the penalty.
Oh, Monday and Spinell are getting at the front of the queue that chases them down again. Look, Jessica Alexander going for a wide cutback, but it's not going to happen because, again, Aaron Alexander has just placed his kart in exactly the right position. So Spinell has come back to 3rd in front of Monday. Then we've got Shields, Hogan, Lambert, Hack, Plackett, Richardson, Algieri. Now, there's some good battles in this little pack as well moving forward. It's a very tricky one round the outside, but the momentum is back with Spinell. Can he hold it? No, he's not able to run that right round the outside because Jessica Alexander's already starting to threaten Aaron, who again just married to that inside line as they come through Cafe again. He holds the inside trajectory. Everybody else is trying to mix it with each other. This is nearly Indy 500 style stuff, isn't it?
Now, Aaron Alexander is listening to our commentary and saying, listen, I've got the lead. I can drive wherever I want on the track.
Absolutely.
In America, we know in the UK, back in the day, Alan Bryant, clerk of the course at the British Championships, made clear you can't do that or you're going to get warnings and then black flags. In America, Jake, you do a lot of commentary out there. This is simply not allowed.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. In superkarts, they throw the book at you in SCUSA in America, so this is where you've really got to be a little bit more sensible in terms of your racecraft. I mean, he clearly doesn't feel like he's got the engine power to be able to lose the lead, because he clearly feels if he loses the lead, he's going to go backwards down the field, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. He has no faith in the machinery, so he's just got to park the bus, because here comes Jessica Alexander and Sam Spinell, and once again, they're all over him like a ton of bricks. down to the station hairpin. What's Spinell going to do? Spinell going very wide. Is there going to be enough time? Yes. Look, Jessica Alexander's focused so much on Aaron. Then here comes Spinell, but he backs out of it. He gives Jessica leeway to go for it. Say, look, I tried my best. I couldn't get you, so you go after him again. Go on. See if you can put your kart in the middle of that gap. Let's see if you can't open the door, let's see if you can make a window.
Yeah, Jessica's got to put her kart up the inside.
Oh, beautiful from Spinell.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is a fantastic move. What an opportune move that was. Spinell right on it now. What can he do about the race lead? He's going to have to come up with a plan. He's on the outside. It gives him the inside here. Not quite.
And look who's come up to 4th place. That's Maximum Shields. So Maximum Shields has worked his way forward. He now fancies his chances. Monday couldn't get it done. Oh, and off the road to get past. Goodness me. He actually put 3 of his 4 wheels off over the white line. Enough of this, Aaron. Move over. You are not going to park the bus anymore. And that is going to be almost as controversial as what Aaron's been doing for the last however many laps. Let's look at it again. Look, he's got all 4 wheels, in fact, over the white line to make the overtaking move. He's clearly had enough. Come on, Aaron, you're not playing ball, so I don't have to play ball either.
No, exactly. And I think that's how the officials are going to look at that, Jake. Yes, you're not allowed to drive off the track all 4 wheels over the white line. But look, Alexander's already decided, Aaron Alexander that is, he's already decided, I'm racing for second. He's still defending down the inside. And that is going to allow the leader now, Spinell. Look, he's already got 4 or 5 kart lengths, 5, 6 kart lengths, and that could be it in terms of the win, because Aaron Alexander's decided, I'm still going to defend. He's racing now for second.
Well, if Aaron Alexander wants ultimate revenge on Sam Spinell, what he should actually do is let everybody go, because if he keeps defending like this, Sam Spinell's going to build a big enough gap that if he does get a penalty, he might end up with a win anyway. So you've got to be careful about these things.
That's true. He won't know at the moment.
Oh, Alexander's got a great run, though. Surely Jess can finish that off. Not quite. And in fact, that's going to concede the position to Maximus Shields, though Jessica Alexander keeps her elbows out and is just going to hang on to 3rd. That's going to give Monday the shot up the inside of Shields. That's lovely from Austin Monday. The green machine goes up into 4th position. But look at that gap. That is how much Aaron Alexander has been holding this battle up. It's already clearly a second, very nearly, as everybody at the station hairpin just trying to jockey away for position. Kieran Lambert trying to get side by side now with Maximus Shields to try and come through, and that's done lovely.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen him coming down the return straight into Bruno chicane, not defending, and he's not defending now. So that's quite interesting. He's not defended there down the return straight into the chicane or coming down into the hanger bend.
Lovely run round the outside. John Hogan taking on Jake Richardson, and they went wheel to wheel through the hairpin. Hogan had to yield that one. Spinell now gets the fastest lap of the race in because he's got clear track in front of him.
Exactly.
He hasn't got the Aaron Alexander Wile E. Coyote roadblock anymore, has he?
And look at this. In 2nd and 3rd now, they've pulled away from this battle. We're just looking at their 4th and 5th.
Right, Jessica Alexander's got another great momentum run, but again, she decides to push Aaron Alexander further forward.
And Aaron Alexander there, Jake, has decided, for whatever reason now, he's not going to defend now. But it's too late in terms of winning.
Yeah, Sam Spinell's already got a second clear, and we've got 1.5 minutes on the clock, so clearly Aaron Alexander tried his best to get the win. Now that he hasn't got the win, he may as well just race for it and see what happens, essentially. Big dive! Oh, big dive on the inside. This is going to be tricky between Algerian runner, and they've gone! Oh my goodness! A big rollover! Well, that is horrific for Sebastian Pereira, and now there's steam coming off the engine. Now, fortunately, he's okay. The race has been stopped as, who was it that went with him? That was Carl Ruddock. So Ruddock and Pereira, in fact. I thought it might have been Algeri, but he just about got away from that.
Well, good to see him out of the kart, Jake. Looks like he's okay. The marshal's on the radio there.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Give him the thumbs up to his family and friends, no doubt.
Another one of those incidents that always looks worse than it actually is. Let's look at it again. So Ruddock has the lead of it. Up the inside Pereira. There's plenty of space there. No worries for that.
That's a good move. That's okay.
Got a wheel on the curb, and then look, it's just a little bit of a squeeze. There's nothing untoward about that. The problem is, once those 2 wheels connect, you're on a one-way collision course with that tyre barrier.
Yeah, neither driver wanted to give it up, did they? And unfortunately, it ended up in tears for both of them, effectively.
It's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You can't really blame Ruddock. You can't really blame Pereira. They're racing drivers. They want to race for it.
Yeah, a lot of camaraderie in the paddock. You can see he's just making sure that he's okay.
Yeah,
and he is.
you're right. Yes, I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm a bit battered and bruised, but hey, we're racing drivers. That's what we do. Well, we got away with that one, and as all of the drivers swap war stories, there were quite a few in that particular race. There was a lot of good battles going on, but the victory goes the way of Sam Spinell by a second ahead of Aaron Alexander. Jessica Alexander valiantly held on for third place in front of Austin Monday and Kieran Lambert. Maximus Shields just missing out on the top 5. Ed Hack, Jake Richardson, Gareth Plackett and John Hogan, all very close indeed in one of the most frenetic senior pro kart races I've seen for a long time. Now, of course, there are 2 different classes for the British Championship of Pro Kart. So in the elite category, the championship leader is Sam Spinell by just 8 points to Jessica Alexander, and it's close for third between Monday, Alexander and Kieran Lambert, with even Ed Hack not that far away. And in the pro points, Maximus Shields has 12 points lead on Gareth Plackett, with Ronnie Rowe, Sebastian Pereira, Seb Algieri and Carl Ruddock very close in. Now we go straight into the action with the Junior Pro Kart battle, and it's going to be Isaac Duff and Finley Marshall on the front row of the grid from Oliver Hall and Max Mannion, Ian Bagar and Isaac Hobbs from Ollie Clegg, and Daniel Katazinski from Charlie Brooks and Chase Sharp, rounding out a very competitive top 10. Again, it'll be tough to know who's going to get the best of that. 11th on the grid for Harrison Johns ahead of Max Hausago, and then Freddie Hausago from Kian Richard, Riley Matthews and Ashley Haase stepping up into the world of Junior Pro Kart. Ready and let's boogie! Up to the first corner. Should be a very tight start. And Finley Marshall just trying to hold on here in front of Isaac Duff. They bang wheels. They get that close through Cafe. They just about stay away from Harms Manor. And they go through up towards Station Hairpin. But you can tell already that Marshall versus Duff is going to be a grudge match for the ages. They mean business as they go through the hairpin for the first time. They're still side by side, but they just about settle it in. And the young man from Merton is the man who has to follow in second position behind Isaac Duff.
Yeah, the timing updates on the left of the screen as they go through the line. That's where they were when they went through the line. Isaac Duff in second place, but he's not in second place now. He's leading it as they come through Hanger into Wilkins for the first time.
This is very tough, just behind the top 6. A lovely choice move there from Ollie Clegg, getting the run through the hairpin, and that certainly tidies things up very nicely from his point of view. Mannion following Duff and Marshall. Ashley Haase up 7 places already. So Duff from Marshall, Mannion in third position on the UK plate, and Isaac Hobbs, Oliver Hall, Ollie Clegg, Ian Bagar and Daniel Katazinski. Going to be a couple of moves again into the hairpin by the look of it. Is Ashley Haase picking up another place? He's certainly trying his best to, as the young man from Reading, Ian Bagar, still trying to work his way further forward. Isaac Hobbs is threatening Mannion. He's looking pretty racy in the Bruno Ferrari chicane, so there's going to be several drivers here gunning for it.
Oliver Hall's one of them, the man from Colville in Leicestershire. Hall there in 5th place currently, but looking for something more.
And the more that Mannion and Hobbs duke it out, the more of a chance he's going to have to catch up to them. So we haven't quite got the same defensive masterclass that we saw from Aaron Alexander earlier on, but certainly Duff is trying his best to get away. He bangs in a 49.19. That's the new fastest lap of the race, and it certainly gives him the tiniest bit of daylight over Finley Marshall. He's got a lead of 0.4 of a second at the line. You may think that doesn't sound like a lot, but in terms of the momentum in karting, 0.4 of a second is really all you need.
Yeah, and you can see 0.4 of a second. It's around about 5 or 6 kart lengths.
Haase's just got past Ian Bagar. He's now up into 6th position. Haase is tearing through this field like a pair of scissors through wet newspaper.
He started at the back of the field, Jake, as well, so this is a great performance. Fantastic.
Really good work from Ashley Haase, not to be confused with the karting chassis, the Haase chassis, which of course is run and manufactured by Jorn Haase. But going to be fascinated to see what more progress Ashley Haase can make. Look at that, fastest lap of the race. He's just done a 49.0. That's with an overtake. Can we just point that out? That's while he's done an overtake in the station hairpin.
Yeah, now where's he going to end up? He's there in 6th place. We can see him from the drone. The drone gives you such a good overall view of who's where, doesn't it? So there he is, sort of pinky red helmet. See him coming through now. There he is on the 17.
He's one of the shorter
members. Close enough, isn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? He's one of the shortest members of the grid, although Chase Sharp would probably win that one. But looking at the balance, he's just made up so much ground on Oliver Hall. He's going to slingshot him to the inside line. And mean, that looked like child's play, to be fair.
Yeah, he's making up places like you wouldn't believe. This is a fantastic drive, and he's certainly got the 3 in front of him. He's going to tick them off his list, you would think. Can he get the lead, though? The lead a little bit too far away, maybe. 1.2 seconds clear.
But see, this is what happens when you are angry, having to start from the back of the grid. You drive with the red mist and you think, right, enough of this. I've just got to charge in and see what happens. Drivers get really motivated when you know you should be starting towards the top 5. You're going from the back and you suddenly have that completely, win or bust attitude. You've got, right, there's nothing I can do except go forward, and you just give yourself that little bit of extra impetus. You are totally determined, dedicated, focused, committed. You may as well just give it everything you've got, and that's what Hase's doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've not seen what's happened in the heats to put him at the back of the grid for this final, but clearly he's had problems in the heats. But we know if he hadn't had those problems, you'd think at this pace, and he's right on the back of the 3 in front of him now, at this sort of pace that he's showing here, he should be out front with Isaac Duff.
Right, this is critical as well, because Manion is trying to take on Marshall. At the same time, Hase's just going to slide in and go for it. Nearly got 2 of them. Goodness me, he almost got Manion in the same breath.
Nearly collected him, to be fair. That would have been a bit embarrassing if it had collected. Manion on the way through. Manion, of course, is the UK plate holder. He won that UK plate back in February when we were at Wilton Mill.
Well, I'm sorry to say we've had one retirement. It's Daniel Katazinski, who started up in the top 10, so unfortunately he's not able to make it through to the end of the race, which is unfortunate considering his performance through the weekend. Hopefully we'll get to see him and a much better run of it. See, this is what happens when Isaac Duff is now settled into the rhythm. He's just taking about 0.2 of a second or so out of each lap that he does over Finley Marshall. And the problem is Marshall's having to think tactically about Manion. He's not going to be thinking about Manion for too much longer, because here comes Hase. He's through in a 3rd position. He's literally picking them off 1 by 1 per lap. Further back, we've got the 10th place battle. Harrison Johns. Oh, up the inside, that's going to be Matthews and Houseago having a go at Chase Sharp. And they come off the turn. Oh, that's a really unfortunate moment for Chase Sharp. He loses 2 in 1 as he charges again forward, back to the battle of a second. But no way! That one came up so far back. Hase just decided, right, enough of this. I've only got 6 minutes to go after Isaac Duff. I've got to get on with it now.
Now he's got 6 minutes. I think that could be enough, Jake. That could be enough with the pace he's got. Can he catch the leader? That's a big gap, though, isn't it?
2.2 seconds. It's a lot. I mean, he's
Look
managed
16th to second in under 6 minutes. Incredible.
He's definitely got the pace to get past everybody else. Oh, Manion had a try. He went for it on Finley Marshall, and unfortunately, he just caught the inside curb. He avoided contact with Marshall by the look of it, but just putting that right front wheel onto the curb, and it pitched the kart around. Very unfortunate. You've got to give these things a go. You're a racing driver. If you don't go for the gap that exists, you're not a racing driver. That's what Ayrton Senna always used to say. But unfortunately, just that little bit of a kiss of the curb, and that's it, a pirouette.
Yeah, he's probably perhaps trying to... I was looking away when that happened, to be fair. He might have been trying to stop himself hitting the driver in front. So
yeah, he was being quite sporting, actually, because he could easily have chucked that in, nudged Marshall aside to keep the kart fluid, but that's not his style at all. He's a much cleaner driver than that, so
great battles all the way through the field, Jake, aren't there?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Chase Sharp has now got himself to the front of that 10th place queue, ahead of Freddie Houseago, ahead of Riley Matthews, and ahead of Harrison Johns. So some good battles everywhere you look, as you say. We've got another pretty tight one between Oliver Hall and Ian Bagar, who are trying to get themselves a little bit closer to Isaac Hobbs. They're tightening up. Now there is Riley Matthews with Johns and Max Houseago. And now we've got wheel to wheel. This is Chase Sharp, desperately trying to throw Freddie Houseago off his tail. Now what's the gap between Duff and Hase? Well, it's now 2.9, so that would suggest really that Hase has got to the limit of what he can do, but still 16th to second in under 6 minutes. I'd take that any day.
Yeah, it might be that he's used his tyres up, used the best of his tyres, and he's certainly not quicker, is he? You can see on that lap now, if the driver's set their fastest lap in the race, he will highlight there on the left of the screen in blue. In purple, it will give the driver that set the fastest lap. That was Hase earlier on, but he's now slower than he was.
Ollie Clegg doing his Peter Solberg impression down at the Stratford Hairpin. He's power sliding on the brakes. You've got to be so committed in these things. These Pro Karts are fabulous little machines, and they give you so much pleasure behind the wheel. I haven't done a lot of driving in many karts, but I will say I've done a fair couple of days in Pro Karts, and they just give you so much joy, so much pleasure. You can really throw them around. You can chuck them about almost like a rental, but it gives you that little bit of an extra kick when you get off the throttle out of a slow bend, and you get so much exertion, so much energy running through your spine.
Yeah, and you talked about rental karts there, Jake. For those watching that perhaps haven't raced karts, these are the sort of karts that you might race on a rental track on steroids. So they've been tuned. Generally, RPM does all the tuning in the UK. Does a fantastic job, Roger Pitchford, tuning the karts and tuning the Honda engines. So they're a bit like rental karts on steroids.
And of course, with these karts, you get two of them, one on each side, so you get that little bit of an extra kick to it as well. Isaac Duff, 3.1 now ahead of Ashley Haase. I think that's pretty much banked as long as he just keeps it going at the pace he's on. 48.9s for both of them, though. They are considerably quicker than everybody else. Even Finley Marshall has had to concede that now he's just got to keep the pressure off from Oliver Hall and Isaac Hobbs. There is your leader, Isaac Duff, ever since he got... Oh, goodness me. I was going to say ever since he got into the lead, he's had it plain sailing. He very nearly sailed away then. That was 2 wheels in the deck and 2 wheels in the air as he hopped over the curb on the exit of the Bruno Ferrari chicane. But he's in the zone. He's absolutely loving life in the lead of this race. He comes over the start-finish straight once again, charges through the left up towards Cafe. A 49.2 for him there. Well, that little bump through the Bruno Ferrari chicane definitely cost him 0.3 of a second on that lap. Ashley Haase closes into within 2.7. That just shows you, even though you're in the lead, even though you've got a big advantage, you've still got to be careful that you don't throw it away. That was a big moment in the Bruno Ferrari chicane, and Duff was lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, two drivers set their fastest laps on that lap. Isaac Hobbs in 5th, and I am Bagar. You're saying Jake, or is it Bagger? It's, well, either way.
Answers on a postcard.
Yeah, you can let us know next time.
Yes.
Caesars, how we pronounce it.
Absolutely.
This is the battle for 4th.
Yeah, it's answers on a postcard. Send it to that foolish commentator that can't say anything properly, Chester. Anyway, they're great battles here. Hobbs has got Oliver Hall running scared through the hairpin at Wilkins. He really has to he's got to push on a pace now. Finley Marshall's finally checked out in 3rd position. So Hall, Hobbs and Bagger right there in position. Let's see if Isaac Hobbs is going to get his run. The battle for 12th is pretty intense now as well. You've got Harrison Johns trying to make his move on the very defensive Riley Matthews. Max Hausago is there for a little bit of cover as well. Back to the P4 battle. Hall, Hobbs, Bagger. Oh, a nice move there from Ian. He managed to get a big mistake from Isaac Hobbs, totally to his advantage. Managed to sweep in on the inside line and take it away.
Yeah. Hobbs definitely made a mistake there, running well wide and gave up the inside line. This is the leader, race leader. Well clear as they come through Wilkins.
Did you see that under brakes? You've literally got 3 on the deck and the rear right in the air. You've got so much physicality. When you hit the brake pedal, this battle continues. Oh, and it's got too close for comfort. Riley Matthews and Harrison Johns. They tangle in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Looks as though Harrison Johns has got going again as the leader Isaac Duff goes through. Now, that I didn't
destroyed
see.
the tyres, Jake.
Yeah, look at that.
That's going to be a red flag.
I think it is, yeah. You can't keep racing when the tyres are in that much of a disarray, which is ironic because the timer has just ticked down to 0 anyway. So, yeah, I have a feeling...
They would have got the last lap board when they went through the line. It's 12 minutes plus a lap.
It is indeed, but we're on the penultimate lap now,
yeah, you
so...
can see yellow flags
yeah,
there,
they've got to stop it.
Red flag, watch the marshal post there showing a red flag. They're going to stop it, and they'll call that race now.
Yeah, you won't restart that because there was only meant to be 1 lap to go anyway, but yeah, with the tyre barrier dislodged the way it is, it's not safe to carry on racing. Let's look at it again. Bang! It's just one wheel tags another, and there's absolutely nothing that either driver can do at that point. How fortunate for the drivers behind, almost clipping the drivers as they went through. So there is a very unhappy Riley Matthews, but fortunately he looks to be perfectly okay, just a little bit shaken. But yeah, as you can see, the tyre barrier completely destroyed out of its original position, so there's no way you could have carried on the race.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the tyres. They're very, very heavy tyres, and they're all over the place. Look at that. That is incredible.
Well, fortunately, they're going to have time to get the tyre barrier reset before the next final that we've got coming up, but that's one way for the race to finish, at least we're not talking about a driver in an ambulance. So Isaac Duff gets the victory in front of the brilliant Ashley Haase from the back to second. Finley Marshall in P3 in front of Oliver Hall, with Isaac Hobbs and Ian Bagar right in behind. Max Manny in P7, Ollie Clegg in 8th position in front of Charlie Brooks, and the ever-impressive Chase Sharp fighting his way through in supremacy.
In the championship points, it's Isaac Duff that leads the way from Finley Marshall, Oliver Hall, Max Mannion, Hobbs, Bagger, Clegg, Haase, Brooks and Houseago, all in the top 10.
To the Clubman grid, and it's Needham and Nye on the front row of the starting grid, with Sinan Mutton and Paul Turland on the second, Steve Nichols and Leo Morgan from Dervan Aylan, and then it is Dominic Needham in front of Chris Fabian in the 47 and Tom Hewland in P10. Then we have on the 6th row Gary Evans ahead of Marty Gilfillan, and Sean Deacon sadly will not take the start, so it's going to be a flamboyant 12 to the line. We're under starters orders, and already Ike Needham wants to hold the lead on the way through. The UK plate is hoping to get a decent start. Hasn't just got a decent start, has already pulled about 3 kart lengths on everybody, so it's a perfect start for Ike Needham.
Yeah, Ike Needham, the man from Hinckley in Leicestershire, not far away from here as he locks it up coming into the turn, but keeps the lead. We've got another battle going up the inside.
Got a problem at the back
together
there, unfortunately, and apologies. So clearly that wasn't intentional in the slightest. But already a couple of drivers getting a little bit too close for comfort. It was Gary Evans trying desperately not to get involved in an incident, and unfortunately there was nothing really he could do to avoid it.
Mutton there picked out. He was in 4th place going through the line. I think he's still in 4th place at the moment. They come out of Wilkins across the start-finish line for the first time.
So that is Josh Nye, still running in a solid 2nd position. For some reason his name doesn't read on our timing screen in front of us, but it is Josh Nye. Then Dervan Aylan, that's a brilliant start for Dervan, to be fair. Steve Nichols, then Kinnan Mutton, Leo Morgan, Paul Turland, Tom Hewland and Dominic Needham. The man involved in the first lap incident was Marty Gilfillan, but fortunately Marty has been able to get the kart going again, so that is good news. Running at the back of the grid, of course, but at least the race continues. And a big slap for Dervan Allen. That has gone terribly wrong. Hand in the air, as if to say, what on earth happened? I don't know whether he was gesturing that he got nudged or whether he just made the mistake himself. It looked to me as though it was a driver error, though.
Dervan Lane, I'm going to pronounce that, Jake, but we'll get it right between us, I'm sure.
We certainly need to keep score of these, don't I? Maybe I've got one, maybe you've got one. We'll have to figure it out later. Right, Ike Needham, fastest lap of the race as he pulls clear, 0.6 of a second quicker than Josh Nye. That just shows you what being in the lead and having that momentum, having that rhythm and composure can do for your race pace. Meanwhile, we've got a decent charge forward from Paul Turland, trying to have a look on the inside of Leo Morgan. Hasn't been able to commit to that move, so had to bail out of it. Meanwhile, Steve Nichols is just ahead of Kinnan Mutton, and then Leo Morgan and Paul Turland just fighting in behind. A little bit of curb from Tom Hewland, but he certainly has the stability to run in front of Dominic Needham, Sean Deacon and Chris Fabian as they run through. But Dervan Aylan has ended up dropping to the back of that pack. 11th position now in front of Gary Evans and Marty Gilfillan. This is the chance for Paul Turland. He gets through though. There's not a lot Leo Morgan can do except just allow it to happen.
It almost looks like the battle for 1st and 2nd is over as Needham sets another fastest lap. And this is a battle for 3rd now, Jake, as Hewland just goes through the picture there. Yeah, in the blue as it comes out of Cafe Corner.
Rather depressing to talk about the lead battle being over with 9 minutes still on the clock, isn't it? But you're absolutely right. Here comes the charge up the inside. Oh, missed braking! Oh my goodness!
That's Tom Hewland is taken out.
Oh, well, that was pretty heavy.
Deacon on the 72, straight into Tom Hewland. Hewland was minding his own business, Jake.
Yeah, it certainly
and
was.
Will have been shocked to suddenly get wiped out from behind.
Well, whether Sean Deacon just missed his braking point because he was so busy paying attention to the battle he was in, or whether the brake actually failed, whichever way you look at it, that was a nasty hit. And both drivers are very lucky indeed to get out of that one, as Ike Needham bangs in another fly up ahead of Josh Nye, Steve Nichols and Kinnan Mutton. But ooh, if you're Tom Hewland and Sean Deacon, you're going to have a headache that'll last a fortnight.
Yeah, that wasn't the
They've
best
kept going,
driving.
though.
I think Deacon will hold his hands up for that one and say, yeah, got that slightly wrong.
but they've kept going, which is just indicative of how strong these guys actually are. That would have been game over for me. I would have said, no, sorry, my ribs can't handle any more of that. I'm walking home and finding a hot dog. But these guys, absolutely warriors. Wonderful to see that they've gone through that and are still pushing on. Needham, Nye, Nichols, Mutton, Turland, Morgan, Dominic Needham in 7th in front of Aylan, and then it is Chris Fabian ahead of Gary Evans. And the lap time pace, Needham is still a good 2 to 3 tenths of a second quicker than everybody that's chasing him down.
This is a battle, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th in the picture now from the drone. Great shot. Battle for 3rd on screen.
We're going to see if this is going to be enough for the move, but at the moment, Mutton just can't quite get close enough to chop in on Steve Nichols. He's got to wait, really, for Nichols to get it slightly crossed up on a curve like that, and now he can get the momentum. So Kinnan Mutton has a real shot here to keep this going all the way down the back straight. He might get a slingshot into Wilkins. He's definitely fairly close through Hanger. Yeah, you don't. The trouble is, you've got to know that the move is on if you're going to come from that far back. You've got to know, fully on confidence, yes, I can slingshot this. I'm not going to make contact. I'm going to be fairly confident it's all going to work out. And if you've got even the slightest bit of doubt heading into Wilkins, you don't risk it. You just bail out.
Needham set another fastest lap there now, 3.1 seconds clear of the rest of them. Josh Nye there just looks reasonably comfortable in 2nd, but these 3 behind, if they work together, could close him.
Like Needham's in the 48s now. Everybody else is in 49 3s, 49 4s. Like Needham just did a 48.8. I mean, if that's not Max Verstappen style domination, I don't know what is really. But fair play to Josh Nye. He's still got the pace compared to the quartet battling for 3rd position behind. And look at Paul Turland. He's starting to get close to Kinnan Mutton now. He clearly feels, look, Kinnan, you've done the best you can to get past Steve Nichols, but you're not doing anything. It's one of those sit or get off the pot moments, isn't it? Just get out of the way, let me have a crack at it. It's going to be tricky though, because Kinnan Mutton is not going to back down through Cafe. Out of the right-hander, back towards the hairpin again. Nichols, Mutton, Turland, Leo Morgan, just a little way further back, down to the Stratford hairpin, and again, it would be an ambitious move to go for it in the hairpin, but Kinnan Mutton has clearly got to plan this one and work it out bit by bit. Got very much closer in the Brunner Ferrari chicane. Now this is going to be Kinnan Mutton's best chance yet. Here we go, on the back straight, having a look at Steve Nichols, up towards Hanger, fling it through the right, don't take any curb there, that'll unset the kart. He's just not quite close enough. The thing is, Steve Nichols has got decent pace. He needs to wait for a big mistake, and it's not coming yet.
Yeah, and he's positioning himself there going into Wilkins in a way that is going to be difficult for anybody to either get the switch back on him, go wide out and come back underneath him on the exit, and even if they do, then they're going to be on the outside going through onto the start-finish line. So good driving there for the man in 3rd place.
Yeah, Steve Nichols doing a good job. He's not even in rear wing panic mode, is he? He's not even checking over his shoulder, trying to figure out where is Kinnan Mutton. He's just doing exactly what he needs to do, focusing in the car in front of him, looking ahead rather than looking back. But the second you start looking behind you, and as I say that, he just checks over his shoulder to see where Kinnan Mutton is. The second you start looking behind you, you're inviting the overtake from the guy in front. It almost says, right, I'm a little bit nervous now about where you are. So that's almost an open invitation to Kinnan Mutton. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Another fastest lap for the race leader. He is now so far clear. He's in a different postcode from everybody else. He's going 4.4 seconds up the road.
Do you know what? He's going 4 to 5 tenths of a second per lap quicker than Josh Nye and Nichols further back. This is monstrous pace from Ike Needham, as Kinnan Mutton is now actually falling into the clutches of Paul Turland. He's got to be very careful. Up towards the Brunner Ferrari chicane, and now look, this is clever. Nichols, Mutton and Turland have been so close in terms of their pace. They've been matching each other sector for sector. They're reeling in Josh Nye. This is no longer a battle for 3rd. It's actually got the legs to be a battle for 2nd place now.
Yeah, definitely a battle now for 2nd place, as Nye's going to come under pressure here. He's going to have to try and hold on the best he can as they go through the line. 3 minutes 42 and change to go.
We just lost 2 tenths there on the lap to Steve Nichols. Nichols has got the confidence and the faith in this kart now. He can stretch it. He can have a look at 2nd position. It's definitely game on. Paul Turland needs to keep his wits about him here in 5th place, because these 3, if they tighten up, there might be something in the offing for him. And even Leo Morgan needs to look after the tyres in the next couple of laps, because if he's got better tyres than the 4 men up front, could get a last lap steal.
They're starting to get closer, much closer there. So this is definitely, as we see, second, third, fourth, fifth on screen and sixth not far away.
Now this battle is going to be decided by who decides to blink first. Who has decided, right, I can make this move, I can change the shape of this race. If Kinnan Mutton goes for Steve Nichols and they lose momentum, Nye has second place wrapped up in his pocket. If Turlan goes for it, then there's still a little bit of an opportunity for Nichols to close in on Josh Nye. And Leo Morgan just needs to allow the chain reaction to happen to give himself a chance to get in there. So this all comes down to who goes for it first. Does Kinnan Mutton try, or does Paul Turland have a look? Meanwhile, this man, just oblivious out front, Ike Needham, is still going 3 to 4 tenths of a second per lap quicker than everybody else. When you're in your zone, when everything's going perfectly, when the kart is balanced, when you feel confident, it's the perfect Sunday drive. There's nothing that can ruin it.
Yeah, he's in a class of 1 at the moment. It's amazing. Sometimes we see this, Jake.
Here comes Morgan. He's decided he's had enough of waiting. He's going to try. Oh, sorry, that's not Morgan. That is Paul Turland, isn't it? Riding behind Kinnan Mutton. There's Leo Morgan. So that was exactly the kind of move he could have capitalised on, but he wasn't quite close enough. However, Paul Turland had a look at Kinnan Mutton, not able to do it.
Into the last lap then, as they come out onto Stratford, straight up to Stratford hairpin. Still Nye out front. Here's a move for third.
Mutton's going to try. He's been working up to this all the way through the race. He's side by side with Nichols. Nichols is not bailing out of it. Up to the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Somebody's got to give. Ike Needham's got an absolute country mile on Josh Nye.
As we come off the battle, unfortunately, right at the wrong time, but this is the race leader who's going to take a comfortable Leicester flag victory. It's been all Needham all day. Now, that's this time. What's he going to be like next time? Is he happy about it? You bet he is.
Well, Needham is the first driver today to cross the finish line under checkered flag conditions, of course. Brilliant run from Josh Nye, and Kinnan Mutton did get third position. Paul Turlan got through as well for fourth place. Steve Nichols has to settle for P5 in front of Leo Morgan. A very frustrated Dervin Aylan comes across the line. He was in that mix, don't forget, until his spin-off. So Ike Needham takes the win from Josh Nye. 7 seconds clear. That's a mammoth gap. Kinnan Mutton, patience pays off, into third position at the end there, ahead of Paul Turland and Steve Nichols. In the points table, Josh Nye leads Dervin Aylan, and the man who was absent this weekend, Jack Dunbobbin, ahead of Kinnan Mutton, and the man who's taken the victory today, Ike Needham.
That's the end of this first programme. Join us for part 2 when we'll be bringing you the remaining 3 finals from the weekend. See you then.